Welcome back. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani slamming the Trump administration for its operation in Venezuela, saying in part, this blatant pursuit of regime change doesn't just affect those abroad, it directly impacts New Yorkers, including tens of thousands of Venezuelans who call this city home. And he's not alone. Several top New York Democrats have vocalized their opposition to the capture of Nicolas Maduro. For more, let's bring in the frontrunner for the New York Republican nomination for governor, Bruce Blakeman. Bruce, thank you very much, sir, for joining us in the Sunday briefing. Good to see you.
Well, this is a great day for New Yorkers, especially those who are of Venezuelan descent. They're very happy about this. Many of them have family members that live in Venezuela in despair and misery of what was once a very prosperous, beautiful, and great country. So a lot of New Yorkers are celebrating today. I don't understand Mayor Mamdani or Governor Hochul in calling this an abuse of power. This is the arrest of a drug lord who has preyed on the people of New York as well as the rest of America. And we are a better and safer country and a better and safer state with him behind bars. I want to congratulate President Trump, Secretary Rubio, Secretary Hegseth, and Attorney General Bondi. This was masterful, it was surgical, it was strategic, and it was necessary.
The criticism that we've heard from Democrats has been pretty much uniform. Mamdani says this: unilaterally attacking a sovereign nation is an act of war and a violation of federal and international law. He also raised concern that it could threaten Venezuelans in New York City. Governor Kathy Hochul implied the same. She said that there aren't credible threats to New York right now, but they're continuing to monitor things. 8 million people fled the Maduro regime. That's just about the population of New York City. Why are these Democrats appearing to defend Maduro here? Do you have any concern that it could impact his prosecution in New York, federal prosecution?
Well, these Democrats are always pro-criminal. They're anti-ICE, they're pro-criminal. They enact laws that make it easier for criminals to prey on people. They're not pro-law enforcement. They're not for securing our communities and making them safer and ridding our communities of drugs. So I'm not surprised. And by the way, this was not an act of war. This was strategic. It was surgical. It was done with the rule of law. It was done by indictment. It was an operation by the Department of Justice, assisted by the United States military, who did an amazing job, by the way. Thank you to our American military. So they're always on the wrong side of this issue. So I'm not surprised at all.
This week, you took aim at Mamdani for some of the executive orders he signed on day one. You said he empowered violent gangs for shutting federal investigators out of Rikers Island, protecting criminal networks by revoking Executive Order 50. He also revoked several executive orders by former New York City Mayor Eric Adams that prevented city institutions from divesting with Israel, revoked orders to give the NYPD or give synagogues additional NYPD security, scrapped the anti-Semitism definition that was, for a very long time recognized by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. All this together, is this administration so far going as you thought it would?
Yes, I mean, if you believed his rhetoric during the campaign, these are things he believes in. He has more support for groups that are terrorists than he is for legitimate religions who only want to live in peace. They want their people to be able to worship here in the United States. Israel is our greatest ally in the Middle East, and they've been strong and supportive of all the things that we do here in America. They are a country that's a democracy. They have human rights in Israel. And again, this is just more of the communist, anti-Semitic rhetoric of Zohran Mamdani. So I'm not surprised. He does not have any respect for law enforcement. He wants to set up all of these community boards that will review the actions of police officers and puts radicals on these boards. 20% of his administration so far has been virulent anti-Semites. I am very troubled, and that's why we need a strong governor who will keep him in check and make sure that he doesn't destroy the economy of New York City and that New York City isn't driven into complete lawlessness, which is, unfortunately, I think the direction that the city's headed under Mamdani.
Devil's advocate here, if that's all true, then why aren't we hearing any pushback from the highest-ranking Jewish official in government, Chuck Schumer.
Well, Chuck has shown recently that he's very, very afraid of the radical left wing of his party. He hasn't been courageous in standing up to him. And I think he's making a political mistake because I think basically there are many common sense Democrats and independent voters who think Mamdani is completely nuts and they would like somebody in the Democratic Party to stand up to him. But right now it's only us Republicans and very few Democrats who are standing up to the radical ideas of Mamdani, AOC, Bernie Sanders. These people aren't people who share American values. They espouse everything that's anti-American. It wasn't the stuff that I was taught in school. It wasn't what my parents and grandparents taught me. We were taught to love America. So it's very troubling.
Well, we will see how his administration gets underway. It sounds like he's been in touch very recently with President Trump. There was one report saying they spoke after Maduro's capture. So, you know, at least there's still a friendly relationship there, for whatever that's worth. We will continue to monitor all of this. Bruce Blakeman, thank you so much for joining the Sunday Briefing, sir.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.